Hello, A Push. So, Chapter 6, the chapter that we're about to embark on, is a pretty long chapter, but it's also a very important chapter. So, we're gonna spend a lot of time on it. Basically, the key question for this chapter is, yes, America won independence from Great Britain, but now what? Now what are we gonna do with this independence? So that's where we leave off. We leave off with the Articles of Confederation, which we saw a couple weeks ago, were a weak foundation of government. That was our first style of government, and it failed. So that is what we are going to look at today. We are going to look at the United States under the Constitution from 1781 to 1787. I'm getting all this from the AMPSCO book. I've been using this book to teach pre-A push for 3 years now, so it's a little ragged. But we're gonna continue. So 4 years separated the signing of the Treaty of Paris of 1783 and the meeting of the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. During that time, the government operated under the Articles of Confederation, which consisted of a one-house Congress, no separate executive, and no separate judiciary or court system. The country faced several major problems. Relations between the United States and the major powers of Europe were troubled from the start. States failed to adhere to the Treaty of Paris, which required that they restore property to the Loyalists and repay debts to foreigners. In addition, the U.S. government under the Articles was too weak to stop Britain from maintaining military outposts on the western frontier and restricting trade. So the Americans were having problems keeping the Treaty of Paris intact from foreign countries. Now, in this case, Britain, because it is seen as a foreign country because we split off from Britain during the Treaty of Paris. Reduced foreign trade and limited credit because states had not fully repaid war debts contributed to widespread economic depression. The inability to levy national taxes and the printing of worthless paper money by many states added to the problems. In addition, the 13 states treated one another with suspicion and competed for economic advantage. They placed tariffs and other restrictions on the movement of goods across state lines. A number of states faced boundary disputes with neighbors that increased interstate rivalry and tension. So, in my opinion, and take this with a grain of salt, The biggest problem with the Articles of Confederation was when where we just read interstate quarrels. And these were all kinds of things: trade, economic policy, policies in general, differed from state to state. And the states were not united. To review what could be done about the country's inability to overcome critical problems, George Washington hosted a conference at his home in Mount Vernon, Virginia. Representatives from Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania agreed that the problems were serious enough to hold further discussions at a later meeting in Annapolis, Maryland, at which all the states might be represented. However, only 5 states showed up. Only 5 states out of the 13 states showed up to this conference. After discussing ways to improve commercial relations among the states, James Madison and Alexander Hamilton persuaded the others that another convention should be held in Philadelphia for the purpose of revising the Articles of Confederation. So that's important as we go to the next video. They go into this conference looking to revise the Articles of Confederation, but instead you guys took civics. Instead they threw out the Articles of Confederation. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna discuss some of the issues brought up in Philadelphia next time. See you guys later.